Hello and welcome to Politics Today. I'm Farooq Patafi. Once again, viewers, we are going to talk about the very same thing that we have been discussing for so much time, that is Maulana Fazlur Rahman's sit-in and then the dialogue process that is going on between the government side and Maulana Fazlur Rahman and his associates from other political parties. One confusing fact that you have to look at is the way the two major political parties, the two major opposition parties, People's Party and PMLN, seem to be treating Maulana's cause, whatever that might be. And that is that at the start it seemed that both the parties are supportive of the idea, but gradually as time passes by and Maulana actually unfolds his slightly xenophobic, slightly intolerant narrative on the stage, at that time a lot of these parties seem to be moving away. Today we are going to talk about what to make of the dialogue process, and then we have to ask certain other questions. For example, we have been discussing this thing for quite some time, but we haven't been able to divine the true motives of Maulana. On the face of it, he demands that the present government, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, should step down and then a fresh election should take place. But anybody can tell you that in the past, whenever there was a sit-in or such agitation, barring 1977, the Prime Minister never stepped down and never did we see similar kind of elections. So what exactly has changed now, and why does he expect miracles to happen, or it is merely a front and he wants something else? We will try to divine all these matters and more. In order to understand these issues, we are joined by Mohammad Ibrahim Khan Sahab, MNA of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. Thank you very much, sir, for being part of the program. Next to him is Arif Chaudhry Sahab, who is a senior lawyer and constitutionalist. Thank you very much, sir, for being part of the program. Next to him is Naseem Siddiqui Sahab, a senior journalist. Thank you very much, sir, for your time as well. I have to start with you, Ibrahim Khan Sahab, and I have to ask you, the government is negotiating right now with Maulana Fazlur Rahman. What exactly have you divined so far? What exactly are his real demands?
Actually, since Maulana has started his this procession and his Tehreek, or whatever name you want to call that.
It is significant that you are calling it procession.
Oh,
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
but there has always a need to have some moral authority or a cause or a national cause behind it, that you, or a matter of a principle, that certain principles of or the law of the land has been violated, or any things of that sort. But so far, I have really not been able to understand the reason why Maulana is demanding the resignation of the Prime Minister of Pakistan, while he hardly has 4%, even less than 4% representation in the National Assembly.
Is that not exactly the reason why he would be demanding that? Because he perhaps thinks that he didn't get that kind of representation.
We have been really very open-hearted about it, and one of our members of the National Assembly who defeated him in the elections, he says, for your satisfaction, I'm ready to resign and recontest election in NA 38, if I'm not wrong, NA 38 DI Khan. He says, if you have any issue with the election process, or you think there is something has been done wrong, I can resign and let's go to the public again, and let's settle the account for once and for all, and let's not. I personally feel, I think it's there are other motives. In my personal opinion, this is my personal perception now.
Yeah. What are those motives? The question was about those motives.
Okay. There are three major things. At the time of when there were considerations going on at the FATF, he was addressing a salute march which is like totally illegal and against the law, that gathering of an armed militia sort of and try to give an impression like still there are groups in Pakistan.
I take it that you have gone through the judgment on the matter, because that organization which you sought to ban actually doesn't exist. So they said, how can you ban it? So whether it is illegal or not.
The purpose was to show the world and to basically give the notion to the members of the FATF that there are still elements in Pakistan who are
militant
who are running things independently.
Right.
One. Secondly, our most important issue of our lifeline was the Kashmir issue.
Right.
And
to distract from
Pakistan's
and the third, sir?
And the third is create a chaos within Pakistan.
Chaos, okay. Okay, these are interesting motives. Let me now bring in Arif Chaudhry Sahab and ask him the same question. What do you think, sir? You are observing everything, right? What do you think is Maulana's objective in coming to Islamabad? And if he is not, he knows that Prime Minister is not going to step down. There must be something else that he wants.
Pratap Sahab, thank you very much. The real crux of the matter is broken ego of Maulana Fazlur Rahman. Okay. That is the prime most important thing, right, which many people are trying to ignore. Because Maulana, for the first time, lost in such a way that he was totally out of the parliament. He was not in the parliament because he is always. Plus, the party who defeated him was not only opposing him politically, but was trying to injure his ego.
Okay.
So many things were said by the Prime Minister himself and his cronies, who do not lose any opportunity to make mockery of very serious situations without realizing the consequences. Okay. Even right now, when Maulana is having a sit-in, planning, of sit-in, and almost it is a sit-in, he has got people, number of people, right, and they are sitting over there, and those people are still making mockery, using, they are in a competition. There are 3-4 people that nobody should lead, okay, in making such a, sarcastic statement, okay, and he should be the first. So now they, in Urdu they say kafiya radif. Right. They are trying to make, things like, as a joke, and people should think about those people that they're so intelligent that they knew this thing, and they are trying to instigate, okay, Maulana.
Okay.
So this instigation and provocation was one of the major factors, because Maulana was quite sure that once he is there and he is there and he can collect mob, so these gentlemen and these political parties, PPP and Muslim League Noon, they will follow the suit. They have to.
And they did not.
No. To some extent,
yeah, but I have
because to this extent that he knew that they will participate, but he was a little more confident about their participation than what they showed. Okay. So Maulana, because they have their own problems, and Maulana was trying to, even today, he is trying to take advantage of those problems which they are facing, before the courts, and they are incarcerating in jail. So it should not be only to the extent that, yes, of course, Maulana has really damaged the cause of Kashmir.
Okay.
Maulana has deviated the attention of the entire nation from the core issue, and now things are being discussed. There is Maulana, what he plans to do.
Yeah, he has moved to the center of everybody's attention.
This was also because broken ego. He wanted that, there should be compensation. That
but the problem with broken ego is that you can try to mend it. But what are the finite objective or tangible objectives that he might be able to get out of it? Let me go to my third guest and ask him to chip in, contribute his own view on Maulana's objectives, because they are important. Remember one thing that was said earlier, that FATF was examining Pakistan. And the interesting thing at that time is that you can read it from this angle, or you can read it from the other angle as well, that since they are demands of FATF, then seminaries have to be regulated. And since Maulana runs his own seminaries, he is adamant that they should not be regulated. That's why he is reasserting himself.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you, Farooq. I agree with my colleague's point that the agenda is something different. Somebody is behind this agenda because the timing is very important.
Who is somebody?
Somebody, anybody outside the country, maybe internationally.
Okay.
Because you can see the timing of this dharna. When FATF meeting was going on in Paris, a video was shown here that some of the people with beard and in a uniform, they are making those batons ready for some action. And it was shown by the Indian government, Indian allies, that you can see that in Pakistan there are elements who are...
It was shown back in the,
on
the FATF forum?
Exactly, by Indian authorities, that you can see that
Maulana Fazlur Rahman support us.
Yes, that video was shown that these elements are present in Pakistan. Those who create terrorism, or the money laundering has been done, from where they have been funded. One of the international ambassadors, he asked me that when the people in Pakistan, they are so poor, they don't have anything to eat, from where these guys are being funded, that they are sitting idle in these dharnas. So there is an element.
You realize the very same people who were wearing uniforms and holding batons.
Yeah.
They today, if you look at the sit-in, at the center, they are the regulating force there.
Yeah.
They are the people who are taking care of the entire Jalsa.
But from where they are getting funding to maintain all these things?
That's a question that I should be asking you.
From where their uniforms have come, from where the food is coming up. And the second thing is that the Kashmir issue was on its peak by government of Pakistan, by UNGA speech of Prime Minister, and our Foreign Minister was very active, and whole of the international media was convinced, and they were showing these atrocities in Kashmir, and they started raising their voice, like New York Times was writing, Guardian was writing.
They still are.
But not at that tempo. So the cause of Kashmir has been hampered by this dharna a lot, because at the moment you can see that all these dharna has been shown on the TV channels.
Right.
Before that one, Prince and Princess of Wales were here, and Pakistan was giving a very good image that Pakistan is a safe place.
Respect, when you have all these images flowing in, right, including the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and other visuals, and then this also comes to you, doesn't it show that the country is pluralistic and it can have many different views?
When you have passed from a very bad phase, the last 2 decades we have been fighting against the terrorism, and when the Pakistan image has been gone very down for this thing, and when you are showing both of these things, so the first one, the Prince and Princess, that gives a good image that Pakistan is progressing. But when you see these videos, you go back into the Stone Age.
Okay, let me ask Ibrahim Khan Sahab. Sir, regarding something that he mentioned but didn't answer, where is Maulana getting the funding?
Sir, this again I will say is my own perception. He is getting funding from inside and out.
No,
from both
for
internal
outside,
and
but you
international.
have to actually show us a link, right? That hasn't happened, and officially the government hasn't accused anybody. So what else inside the country? How else would people be supporting it financially? Akram Durrani and others?
I don't think they have such a financial strength to support this kind of a
massive
number
gathering
of people, massive gathering for so long.
You are calling it massive, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, massive means anywhere between 10, 20, 30, 40,000 people, and just getting them food and logistics and so on. It's not that easy. I mean, if you ask me, I cannot afford to feed 10 people for more than 2 days.
Okay.
And here Maulana is feeding all these people while he is claiming to be the cleric of our religion, and he's his mostly duties are religion based, and he's into, you know, is he getting money or using that sort of a money which is coming from other countries in the name of religion, or is it a money being funded by those whose motives are being forwarded? And I personally, to be very honest, I feel like it is the
money that is coming from abroad. But is it not the whole purpose of National Action Plan to you know, keep a check on such things? That means that if it is coming, the government, your government, should at least have some understanding of who is funding them.
Okay, if it is coming through the banks, it's easily detectable.
Okay.
But the things are, we still have a porous border on the
Afghan
Balochistan, Afghan, and Afghanistan border.
Yeah.
All, I mean, from Balochistan to all the way, I mean, into KPK, parts of KPK. And I personally feel that, and they were, I mean, mentioning about this smuggling of diesel again too, that a lot of diesel is being smuggled in.
You are once again
Iran.
pointing.
No.
Okay.
This is the
You
factual
realize
position.
that your party has been calling Maulana diesel.
No. I'm not calling him Maulana anything.
Okay.
All I'm saying is tons and tons of diesel is being smuggled from Iran.
Right.
So his funding is coming through different sources, and I think those are not going. They are not going through banks. But if they do, we will be able to catch them.
Right.
But ultimately, it's hurting the cause of Pakistan, and it is.
But with due respect, since the case was built that somehow Kashmir issue has been sidetracked, or it has been, you know, it has been removed from public attention. But due respect, nations and international media are capable of multitasking, focusing on more than one ball, right? Sir, regarding this issue that Maulana is getting funding, that is important. The second question that I had to ask you, and I asked Siddiqui Sahab, that Maulana might be doing it to defy FATF curbs as well, that his seminaries should not be regulated. Is that a possibility?
I think both are possibilities, and there are so many possibilities, you know, because that is one aspect, ego, but, you know, because he started from that, but there are other important, serious issues. But one thing which is important, and that has to be looked into seriously, the role of government. First of all, the government should have gone, you know, into the entire issue very seriously. And there are so many ways to diffuse him. One thing which I am going to point out, I think you shouldn't wonder that Maulana is a minority to which, as a cleric, because, you know, the sect he represents, that is not predominant in Pakistan.
Okay.
There are other sections of society, and there are another sect of Muslims who are more vibrant, and they are against Maulana's this, stance.
Okay.
Government has not, I think, used them, you know. Otherwise, even at the very start, had there been a meeting, and those should have been tasked, those Maulanas, you know, to propagate. I was just watching one video that was so important, you know, impressive, that, you know, they were, the gentleman, the Maulana, who was in that video, he was pointing out every damn thing which could, you know, bring the real purpose behind this, sit-in.
Okay.
And Maulana's real designs, starting from Jamiat Ulama-e-Hind, their way of thinking and coming down to this level, because that is one aspect. The other aspect is that you should have found out where this money is coming from, who is, you know, they are sitting like us.
With evidence, right?
Yeah, with evidence. They are sitting just like us, you know, as laymen.
But he is a lawmaker, he is not a government minister, right?
I don't mean him specially, I'm talking about the government.
Yeah.
Because for such things, government should have gone into detail, and they should have found out.
Sir, I'm glad that you mentioned Jamiat Ulama-e-Hind,
Yeah.
because it, while our or Maulana Fazlur Rahman's group actually ceded from it when Pakistan was created, there still is a Jamiat Ulama-e-Hind.
Yes.
And a few days ago, it endorsed Modi's, policies in Kashmir.
Yeah, they are still.
So do you connect the two? Will you connect both?
I really want, because, you know, I have met those Maulanas also, you know, in Ludhiana, because, you know, those which are shown with the Ajit
Ajit Doval?
Oval. And, you know, Maulana, I think, you know, we should not dub anybody as a traitor or anything, but if you think, and you know, everybody considers that these things are going to, you know, mar the image of Pakistan, and, you know, because we are in a very tough situation,
right.
you know. So in such a situation, if you think, because I have seen always, those mullahs, those maulanas, they never accepted Pakistan. And whenever such thing happens, they always say, look, our forefathers used to say that it's not going to be a success.
Yeah.
You know, and they will quote Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, because he also...
and the forefathers of Maulana Fazlur Rahman also refused to accept Pakistan's
Yeah,
reality.
yeah.
That's why instead of renaming their segment of Jamiat Ulama Hind as Jamiat Ulama Pakistan, they started calling it Jamiat Ulama Islam.
Yeah.
And that was quite an interesting,
Yeah.
you know, switch. But Naseem Siddiqui Sahab, regarding the situation at this moment, it seems that things are contained, that the Maulana and his supporters are sitting in one corner of the city. Do you think there is a possibility that when he gets desperate or when he gets tired, he might actually start moving towards D Chowk?
I'll just add into your question that about Jamiatul Ulama Hind, that they verbally endorsed the actions of Modi. And whereas Maulana has practically endorsed the actions of Modi by sabotaging the Kashmir issue.
Okay.
And the
But
second,
that was a question for our
I've just,
legal
I've just added.
expert. Yeah,
I've just
yeah, please
added.
go ahead.
And the question you have asked, that the positive thing of this dharna is that both parties, the government and the Maulana, both are ready to negotiate by sitting on table. That's why there is not much chaos in the city.
What are they negotiating, by the way?
They are negotiating on the points, whatever is given by Maulana, that resignation of Prime Minister and then
If
formal
Maulana is
termination.
kind enough to give the government this set of demands,
Yeah.
why can't he be kind enough with the media or his own allies in the opposition parties that he can share those demands as well? We don't even know. Is there any transparency or clarity about what are his
No,
demands?
even he was not clear. Even the Pakistan Muslim League and People's Party, whenever I talk to any of them, they said that we are not clear about the agenda of the Maulana
Precisely.
when they were coming here. And still
His
they,
own supporters from his own party
I
were
asked them-
asked on television.
Yeah.
And they said whatever Maulana
and
says,
actually
we are going to
Maulana,
support it.
as Arif Saab said before, that Maulana has been cornered, so he just want to come back and he want to show his importance. And
No, but that debate was actually done the moment he arrived in Islamabad with a big
the
number,
mob
right?
he is carrying at the moment, they even don't know what's the reason for them to come here. And Maulana Sahab is playing only the religious card at the moment. And if Maulana gets desperate, as you asked, he will definitely use the religious card, and then the mob can...
No, he is using that religious
Yeah, in
card
his
as
speeches.
we speak.
Yeah, in his speeches.
I'm
Yes, he's
coming to
using.
this.
But he is using that one with a little bit caution. But
Right.
if he go ruthlessly, then the mob can move towards the Islamabad. Then there would be a big chaos. So
Right.
that's what the government don't
Ibrahim
want
Sahab
at the
wants
moment.
to actually chip in, sir. Please go ahead.
Basically, I just wanted to add to what Siddiqui Sahab was saying. It's not that, I mean, this is on record that different TV channels approach them and ask them, why are you here? And somebody says that Allah maaf kare, God forbid, that Imran Khan is Gustakh Rasool. This is what they were fed. This is what they were told back. And majority of them, almost 80% of these people have come from the far northern areas, where there is no TV, no means of communication, and people don't have much that they know any better. They're innocent people, innocent Muslims who have been basically
They were mentioning
lured into, and then they were also
They were
talking
mentioning
about
certain names as well. For example, Asia Bibi and a couple of Ahmadis who were released, right?
and also about like the recognition of Israel. And I mean, he is trying, he's desperate.
Are you going to recognize Israel?
We will never.
Why?
We will never. Why?
Yeah.
Well, I tell you
Okay,
why.
we don't have to. It was
Okay.
a rhetorical question.
It
We have
is-
to come back
it
to the
is.
discussion.
No. Very simple answer.
Okay.
Till the freedom of Masjid Aqsa.
Right. Okay, that is an important thing to say. But coming back to this idea and the whole ridiculousness of this situation, when somebody is accusing a prime minister of doing something against faith, while the very same prime minister is present at UNGA fighting the case of
Fighting the
Islam,
case
right?
of Islam,
That is astounding.
And he fought so beautifully.
Yeah.
And he
So you
explained
think
it
that
with
your
such a
government has
beautiful
not
logic.
been able to convey it
but
to the
those
people?
poor innocent people who were sitting on the Afghan border side with, I mean, on
Who's
the
going to
Pakistan
educate
side.
them? It is responsibility of the
It
state
is
and
our
government.
responsibility, but it takes
it
years.
definitely take
It takes
time.
years to. It
Why?
takes time because of lack of resources, and there are so many things that you have to. But one thing is good, which is coming out, that the government side has really played very cool. We have not stopped them.
You're the government, right?
Okay.
So you're complimenting yourself. Let me
Sir,
go
we
to
have
Arjun
not
Hafiz.
created any hurdles, any problems, and we are trying to be, and we are being as democratic as possible.
Patapi Sahab, the most interesting thing which I would like to address was in fact introduced by you. You know, when you said, what is there to negotiate?
Yeah.
Why should they sit and what the parley is for? So that is important, because as far as I am concerned, if you remember even in your last program, I always said that Maulana has only one agenda.
Okay. His own ego.
Yes, his own ego, and whatever comes on the way, he may use any card, and even in the presence of People's Party chairperson, Bilawal Bhutto, he said that who are those who want to stop me from using a religious card? We will use that, and he was just laughing, because that is important and significant for everybody to understand. And I would tend to agree with the name Naseem Siddiqui Sahab also. Maulana right now is sitting in such a situation where he is almost cornered in a way, because those both political parties, I will not think that they have gone wrong on that. They did the right thing. Not joining hands with Maulana at this point in time, because there is no way to attack the government, and because their own narrative would have failed if they would have sided with Maulana for sit-in. So I appreciate their conduct. Maulana, what I doubt, and what I really fear, frustration may cause any damage. And at this point in time, I would like to pay tributes to Chaudhry Shujaat Hussain.
Right.
That is the crux of the matter. Maulana, you have stolen the show. You have emerged as a leader.
Massage his ego and then get it. Okay.
And what about the Shahbaz Sharif? He is only Jumma Jajnar. He is nobody. He just, you stole the show, and he is following you both.
Both political parties have supported you.
Yes,
now.
supported
He
you.
pampered
So
him.
that is the way, and Maulana was very happy on that. So now you need people like Chaudhry Shujaat Hussain. And
But
you have
to
tell-
realize, sir, with due respect, following Maulana's politics past 20 years, while we may not give him the kind of credit, he is a very effective negotiator. I mean, on the face of it, you might think that you have pampered him and then everything is going to be hunky-dory, but he gets what he needs. For example, in the previous governments, the way he had, this ministry, housing ministry, it is perhaps the most significant contribution to JUIF's own economy. Through that, he kept on doing whatever he wanted to.
Even Kashmir Committee.
Yeah, Kashmir
so whatever
Committee.
he wanted, he got. No, that is true. But right now, there is a party who are very hard on this issue, and they don't want to share anything with Maulana. And that is the problem, because if you don't want to share, anything, I would say, material with Maulana, as he has been sharing all with everybody, and that's, I would say, they were the people mainly responsible to bring Maulana to such a level that Maulana thinks that whatever he wants, he can get from anybody.
Actually, it is the people who are sitting. So I have to go to Naseem Siddiqui. Sir.
Just a simple, real quick one.
Yeah.
Again and again, sir, honorable participant was saying that it's ego. I would rather make it was more like a Vigo. The more he needs.
So it is no more about it is no more about petroleum products. Now it is about finished cars, right? that you have started talking about that. Let me go to Naseem Siddiqui Sahab and ask him, sir, regarding the overall cost that it might actually incur on the people of Islamabad and Pakistan's economy. What does it mean in terms of economy that in federal capital a big group is sitting of protesters, and that might cause trouble for the government?
Yeah, definitely economy is going down at the moment in Islamabad at Pindi because the traders, they are very much in jeopardy at the moment. There was a Itwar Bazaar next to that Dharna, and they are not opening at the moment. So people used to get.
Do they need a Itwar Bazaar when they have this bazaar? They can feed people here.
Yeah, because people used to get cheap things from there, and those traders, they are not getting their due
Since you
share
said
at the
cheap
moment.
things, let me qualify. You mean cost-effective things?
Cost-effective thing, yeah, definitely. Cost-effective things. And the Maulana, I think there's one community in Pakistan who used to sell carpets, and they start their pricing from 10,000 and they used to sell it for 2,000.
Yeah.
So I think Maulana will be going like this as he's demanding about the resignation of Prime Minister and midterm elections, which are not going to happen. So I think in 2-3 days the negotiations will be settled down and he will go on some lesser.
Do you think Maulana has the holding out power, the staying power, if he wants to keep this entire procession, as Ibrahim Sahib was saying?
I don't think so, because when I went there on Friday, there was a big crowd over there. But after that, I have seen that with the passage of time, the crowd has been shrinking at the moment. The weather is not allowing them to sit over there. The food quality is very bad, which has been distributed to them. And then Maulana cannot sustain, because the local funders, those who funded locally, they are pulling their hands back at the moment.
Who are the local funders?
That was one political party as well, those who have gained something from the other hand. So
you're talking about PMLN.
PMLN, yeah.
So be open about it. Why are you suggesting, hinting at things?
So they are not funding them anymore, so it would be difficult for Maulana to sustain.
Are you sure that they are not funding Maulana?
Not anymore. Not anymore. Yeah.
Based on the assumption that they were, are you sure that
they are getting the benefits from the other side? So they were in the bargaining position. So
they would want this to continue.
No,
so won't they be funding?
They got what they wanted. They got
what
they
exactly?
wanted. It was the bail of Nawaz Sharif and the
that-
bail of Maryam Nawaz Sharif.
Hang
Captain
on,
Safdar is
hang on.
out as well.
I didn't mean that. And with due respect, all this talk about bails has nothing to do with that, because we have a legal process in the country, right? Kindly don't imply that somehow these negotiations
it
are
has
connected.
nothing to do with the
Precisely.
legal process.
And that's why I have
Judicial
the esteemed
process.
lawyer here who can
judicial
defend on this
process.
matter. But sir, coming back to Chaudhry Shujat and Pervez Ilahi's visit, when he was asked whether you have contacted the Prime Minister of Pakistan or not before coming here, he said that we are going to meet him tomorrow. That was essentially an indication that it was their own initiative, not your party's, right? The question is, if you have such effective negotiators, why is it that they had to actually take their own initiative? You didn't ask them to go there?
I think they played very smartly, and
Who did?
Chaudhry Shahjaz Sahab and Chaudhry Pervez Ilahi Sahab, they both went and talked to him and didn't want to give the impression that there were any contact, because the government
Why?
was in contact with, because they just wanted to hear his demands first. They didn't want to go.
But they are your allies. So when they go there,
allies,
right?
yes.
When they go, the implication is that they are taking the charge from the government and some kind of mandate from the government.
No, it's really not true because they're part of our government and our partners in the government also. So there was, I think, second tier you can call, negotiations between. Not negotiations.
You're calling Chaudhry Shujat second tier.
No. From our side,
Okay.
our side, people who were conveying the message and communicating things between.
You're now talking about the
HSM1.
Defense Minister of Pakistan.
And
His
few
committee.
others also went and talked to them and asked them to mediate the issue because we want things to settle it, peacefully. We don't want any kind of miscreation or misconduct or any kind of loss of
It
lives.
shouldn't be misconstrued, right? But
Right.
then you should at least have an idea of what else are the demands of Maulana Fazlur Rahman.
On the face of it, he's saying that the resignation, which
That's
is
one point, Ajita?
that is totally unlogical and uncalled for.
Okay.
And
But
has
is it the
no-
only demand that he's actually asking for? Is it the
You
only
see,
demand that was tabled?
anything else below that if we discuss it on TV will be, again a blame game, and I don't want to get into that.
Okay.
But he certainly have certain motives. If you don't give him anything, at least he will then finally demand at least give me all the expenses I incurred during this.
No, it won't happen. Already somebody has accused that he is getting money from elsewhere. So why, or at least even you have
No.
actually accused him. So why
I'm
would he
telling
need money from the government of Pakistan?
He needs money from everybody. He is getting
I
it
don't
from
want to go there. Let me, yes sir.
I just want to make one point clear that I was not saying that courts compromised for their bails, but if the opponents, if the opponents,
We are
they-
over this.
No,
Let
no,
us go. Let it go, please. Huh?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, please. You wanted to say something.
I would think that it was the first time that there was any high-level effective meeting on the part of the government,
Sir.
which was headed by Chaudhry Shujat. Because prior to that, the committee which had been formed by the Prime Minister could not have any proper, negotiations with that
Maulana and-
Maulana, because Maulana is at war with all of them. Because Chaudhry Shujat, Parvez Ilahi, they have always been very good friends with Maulana, and Maulana has been sharing so many good things with so many pleasantries with these guys. So I think, government should be smart enough to employ these people and ask them, to work more vigorously.
Right.
Because this is the time, because the first, I would agree that, now this crowd is
Thinning,
thinning
Yeah.
day by day, and this is what I knew today also. But moreover, they have taken the mandate whenever they want to withdraw or pull out of this Azadi March, they can do it. And that is also a significant and major development by all component political parties. So it means that now it is the way to retreat. They are looking for a very honorable way, whatever, because there is no honorable way for retreat, but people consider there should be an honorable way for exit or retreat. And that is the one which can be provided through emissaries, envoys like Chaudhry Shujat.
Right.
And
So you're saying that the government's entire formula from the very start, initially they deployed only the religious minister, who's a Pashtun, right?
Yeah.
Then they went for the defense minister again a Pashtun, and given the other side is also from the same ethnic group, they are sharing, or they are the nemesis in the same electoral politics.
Yeah.
And that becomes a difficult thing.
Yeah.
Whereas when you talk about Chaudhrys, they can communicate because they are not, there's no zero-sum game between them and JUIF, right?
That's what I think.
That's a very important point. Do you agree with this?
Yeah, definitely, because when Chaudhry Shujat came yesterday, he was warmly welcomed by Maulana Fazlur Rahman. Even Maulana Fazlur Rahman kissed on his cheek as well. And he met Chaudhry Parvez Ilahi very nicely as well. So they've
You
got,
read too much things,
because
between
I'm a
lines.
journalist, so I watch
So
very
you have to
carefully.
look at the body politics.
Body language as well.
Body language, right?
Yeah.
And
he
what
met
is happening with the body
and
also.
he met with Parvez Ilahi very nicely. And as Chaudhry Sahab said, that they've got very good relations with Chaudhry Bradran, and they don't have any conflict even politically or any other. So they can sit down and they can deal very nicely. And Chaudhry Shujat Hussain has been a very prominent political leader, and he is
Very
like
cool-minded.
very cool-minded, and he has sorted out many things in the past as well. So this is a good move from government at the moment. And as Prime Minister said to the committee that other than the resignation, you can talk with them on other issues. If
Was
Maulana-
it the right kind of statement to come from Prime Minister? I mean, anything but this, right? That would mean that you can ask for the moon.
Because at the moment they are not even clear that what is Maulana actual demands. Because Maulana categorically said in his first speech on Friday that they will take resignation from the Prime Minister and they will not move from here until then. So this is a good move that government has engaged Parvez Alai and Chaudhry Shujat Hussain.
No,
and
they engage the government.
No, I think they've asked them to
That's
come
what
and
the stance of the government.
Yeah, they actually stated that they are going to meet with the Prime Minister. That means that they didn't meet the Prime Minister before going there, right?
they were given a message and they were conveyed that once you come here, you will meet with Prime Minister on the other day.
Right.
because
Now, I'm told that since we have this shrinking window of time, we have to move towards conclusions. So, your conclusion?
My conclusion, we will let them sit for as long as they want to.
Okay.
And
That can be a few
finally-
months?
And I don't think they will do it for a few months. I think it will fade away because he does not have any genuine demands.
Okay.
Because you need to have a genuine demands.
So,
and
why are you
then
negotiating with him then?
We are only negotiating, keeping in perspective the unforeseen circumstances where these poor, uneducated or ignorant and people from the
Far-flung areas of the country.
far-flung areas of Pakistan have been dragged into this religious fervor and can be used. But I also would like to mention here one thing. Chaudhrys have negotiated two other
Deals in the past?
deals in the past, and the result was also very final one. So, I mean, you know, nobody has the right to challenge the right of the government. And if by any means, if they are trying to threaten the, you know, law and order situation.
You're talking about
or-
Maulana Fazlur Rahman now, not the Chaudhry
Yes,
brothers.
I'm talking about, but no, I'm talking about in both with the same context. They negotiated with Maulana from this Lal Masjid. They also negotiated with.
But you're not helping your own cause because they are your emissaries. So,
We
your
should
conclusion.
not test their nerves,
Yeah.
and we should not test our economy, we should not test our people,
Yeah.
because the government should always behave like a, you know, a representative of the state, and state is mother-like. So if there is a rude child, you know, you may call anybody, and if he is there to attack, you know, the government and the institutions, so it is the government who has to play very smart. It is only with these
And you
kind
think-
of official narratives you cannot move things on.
And government needs a rethink, you see?
Yes, government at least by temperament, you know, they have to change it, you know. There would be no difference because if this situation is diffused, finally who is the winner? It is the government.
Or the people of Pakistan.
And the people of Pakistan and state of Pakistan.
Right.
So I would salute government and request government, you know, if they are successful in diffusing this kind of, you know, sufferings which people are facing at the moment.
Right.
Yeah, their ego should not go higher than the
Ego is the
national
key
interest.
here, right? Your conclusion, sir.
Maulana's party is in parliament at the moment. If he want to raise some, if he's got some demands, he should go to the parliament.
Okay.
If he wants to be in the dharna, then he should stay there. He shouldn't be moving in luxury cars, sitting in his house, eating good food. If he is going to give a dharna, stay there. Because one of the participants, he died today of cold. He died of heart attack. So he should
Cold
be
or heart attack?
if there is cold, then heart attack is obvious. It's more chances. So he died of that. So if we want to taste the same thing, then he will know that what to do. So he should
Yeah,
wrap
at
his
least,
done at the
you know,
moment.
when it comes to longevity of any such sit-in,
Yeah.
you remember that Tarul Qadri used to sit in his own container,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
why people would keep on watching and listening to him. That is a bonding element. And if Maulana leaves the venue whenever he wants,
Yeah.
that becomes a problem. But I'm told that we have to conclude the program. Naseem Siddiqui Sahab, thank you very much for your time. Arif Chaudhry Sahab, thank you very much for your time as well. Always a great pleasure having you here. Same goes for you, Ibrahim Khan Sahab. Thank you very much for being here. Viewers, you have listened to the participant. Of course, the dharna or the sit-in continues, and we still have to understand what are the key factors that are playing at this moment, what are the key demands, because Maulana is not very forthcoming with his demands that might be his expectations from the whole thing. Unfortunately, there is a possibility also that he might be improvising. That means that he came here without preparation, and now things are going to turn difficult. Let us hope that in coming days we see some kind of resolution. We will keep on discussing these matters. This was today's program. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.